So lastly, let's go ahead and try to develop another mask around the base of the mountain here to try to create some kind of beach mask that we can use. And this is going to be just a real quick setup. Nothing too elaborate here, but I just want to go and create something fairly quick that is going to look a little bit better than just our terrain that's going directly into the ocean. So I'm going to use the height field generator again to develop an area and create a mask that we can then plug into the shader and just create a white kind of area in some of those areas. So we go to our mountain here. Let's just hide all the other objects. Actually, I'm going to go out and hide go to the ocean surface. I'm going to disable the merge foam so we're not looking at the foam. Make things a little faster, but I do want to see the surface of the water so I know where to create this mask. So what I want to do is I want to create another separate mask, but you see how we're already using a mask in the height field visualize. We're already using a mask called mask. So what we want to do is create a separate mask, name it something different, and then merge it in. So again, let's go into the height field mask by feature. And let's take a look at this. I want to create a mask that we're just going to kind of see the edges of the water here. So for one, I know I want to do it by height. So let's mask out an area by height, compute the range, and I'm going to say a maximum height of, say, 15. So anything that's red is going to be our mask here. Alright, so now I just kind of want to limit it maybe by slope. So anything that's kind of steep, I don't want there to be a beach. And everything that's kind of obviously a shallower angle, I want to have a beach. So we're going to do that by slope. Let's turn this on. And the slope, I want the minimum slope angle to be 0. And it's just kind of, let's reduce the slope ramp. We don't want any fall off there. And let's just kind of reduce the slope angle. And instead of mouse up, I'm going to go to auto update. And let's just kind of reduce until we get something like this. So we're just creating a little area here. And then finally, I want to smooth out so it's not so defined. I want to use the smooth radius to kind of create just a little bit of a smoother transition. So here we go. This is going to be a kind of areas of sand. And I really want it subtle because I know this is kind of a quick setup here. So I don't want to be too noticeable. But I just want to be able to see that beneath the trees and a little bit of where the waves are going to come. And let's make sure to computed the range, but it didn't go all the way to the ground. So let's just take this back. Oh yeah, and the height ramp. So I just want to reduce the height ramp of the bottom there as well. So we're not clipping off any of that bottom area. Okay. That's pretty much it for that. So now how do we bring this in and combine it here with our existing height field? Well, let's drop down a height field copy layer. And now we want to source the mask that we're taking out of here. And destination, we can call it whatever we want. Let's call this beach. And if we middle mouse click, you'll see that we've still got all the other attributes, mask, bedrock, sediment, all that. So I'm just going to blast away everything else, except for the mask that we just created. So under group, we can choose beach and then delete non-selected. So now all we have is a mask that's called beach. And finally, we can merge this back in to our existing fields here. And now we're going to have our existing mountain, but with another beach attribute here. All right, so we know we have that beach attribute in there. So let's add this in onto our previous shader here. So let's just hold Alt and duplicate our other parameter mask. And let's drop in our beach, our new beach mask attribute. And what I want to do is I just want to add this into our previous shader here. So we're just adding that mask attribute on top of the previous values there. And there we go. So you see that we're just adding those values on top, and we're still displacing that sand. But for the scope of this tutorial, this is just kind of a quick setup to grab some areas of masks and to add that on, just to develop a little bit of a quick kind of sand beach area. One other thing we can do is drop fit range down, and since we're just kind of boosting the brightness of this, we could take our source min and max from 0 to 1, and we could crank up the destination max, which will crank up the overall brightness. There you go. So we're just kind of blowing that out. And we got some nice white looking sand along our mountain there. So finally, that's a quick setup for our ocean shader and creating some sand in those areas. So I've gone ahead and done a render with those current beach settings and bringing back all the foliage and trees and clouds and done a quick camera movement. And this is what we get with kind of an HDR image. So you can see where we're headed, and it looks pretty great. You can see the movement of the water looks pretty good, and the waves, the atmospheric fog, and everything's kind of working together. And now we can go on and create our volcano.